What does it take to be a successful entrepreneur? A dangerous amount of coffee and a ton of grit. My name is Jason Tracy, and every week I interview business leaders to share their stories, life lessons, failures, and advice with you. Welcome to Coffee and Grit. What is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Grit. I always know it's going to be a fun one when we can sit and rock out together to the theme song. So, I can't do this show without the music playing in the background. I hope you guys feel the same way. So, First things first, I got to update everybody. I've been talking about the Entrepreneur Unplugged event for the last, almost year. I've talked about it several times. Through the cold months, we were talking about what we were going to do in June. And then I was sitting here last week like, holy shit, it's this weekend. I can't believe it's this weekend. And so spoke at this event last year, met so many incredible, powerfully impactful people, and got to be invited back for the second year. And usually what happens on events that are run really well is the second year gets so much better. I didn't even think it was possible, but this was 10 times better than it was last year. It was a whole retreat, staying the night, camping, music, meditation, yoga, but also some just really powerful speakers that were there, including myself, that were there. And you know what? I've spoke on helping people tell their story and gain visibility. So amplifying your roar, so to speak, right? And so difference makers out there, and this is the thing, for this next year, I'm going to really market this as this is difference maker palooza. Like anybody listening to this show, if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to really connect with other difference makers and learn something about how to grow and amplify your business, this is the event for you. Get on it. I'm going to start promoting it early this year because it was just awesome. I got to bring my wife this year, Gracie, and I came home talking about it last year, and I'm like, you have to go with me next year. And we've been just riding through the wave of all the emotion and the adrenaline this weekend. We were talking about it still this morning about all the gain relationships. My wife's like, I didn't think that I would leave there with friendships, like powerful friendships and people that she's like, I can't wait to talk to this person again. And so just so much growth, so much connecting again with other difference makers. And there are people there that the things that they do are changing the world. They're changing people. And so leaving that was so awesome. But what we were doing is telling people, helping people be able to share and tell their story. And so I've had so many guests on this show. This is episode, I think 167, 166, somewhere around there. And so I've had so many guests on and so many powerfully impactful people, incredible people. And so many of them said, oh, I don't have a story. Oh, I don't really have anything that makes me different. And, and then you get into it and it's like, what do you mean you don't have an impactful story? You just told me this incredible thing. And so I did this test. And so my workshop in the afternoon, we did this whole, how to amplify your roar and how to overcome the belief system that you don't have a story. And then people came back in the workshop and later in the day, and we literally created content. And I set them down one by one. I did an interview like this, 5 to 7 minutes long, and I got them to tell a powerful story about who they are, why they do it. And I had so many people that were like, oh, I don't have a story. It was really awesome going through this experience because there was 9 people there in this particular breakout, and every single one of them looked like they were going to cry when I said, we're going to sit down and I'm going to ask you questions and we're going to put a camera in front of your face and you're going to go through this. And it was like almost like riding the roller coaster where it's like all of a sudden you realize that you're going to go down the hill. That was what people's faces were. And so the first person told me like, well, what if I don't have a story? She's sitting next to me. She's like, what if I don't have a story? And I'm like, everybody has a story. Everybody thinks they don't have a story. That's my unique gift is I can get your story out of you in a powerfully impactful way that when you explain it, people go, oh, I need to be pulled into that. And so I picked her first. And then we got on and she tells me this incredibly impactful story. It made my wife cry, who's over filming. And it's like, it's so powerful again to see that belief system when somebody believes in you and someone says, wow, what do you mean you're not a storyteller? To see those people pick up like their vibrations and like, so the intensity, the emotions, the adrenaline that people had, it was so cool to watch it, to see that belief across 9 people transform. I was feeding off of the adrenaline just from that. So anyways, I can't preach this enough. As I talk about it throughout the year, look out for the links, get your tickets. If you're a difference maker, you want to come to this event next year, it's incredibly impactful. So with that said, I have a difference maker in the studio with me. And this is the first time I've ever had somebody from like an executive director, president from the Chamber of Commerce on the show. And I was telling Katie this a second ago. And so I'm super excited because when we talked, how many months ago is this now?
A few.
A few months ago when we were talking, it made me very apparent that you have to go in and build something. And this is all about entrepreneurship. And we were sitting here talking, she's like, entrepreneurship is my jam. And, so we're going to talk about how to build a business and then how that business takes care of other businesses in the community. So Katie Chuba, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
My
this
pleasure.
is exciting.
So tell me, what is it? What are you, tell me about your role.
Well, I'm running the Novi Chamber of Commerce. So I started in December. I was in Livingston County for a long time. My roots are here, as we kind of chatted about.
Yeah.
Just kind of stirring the pot over there, trying to make it happen, make a difference, like you said, making changes for the positive to, help businesses in that area. It's amazing.
I like you, I share that experience of going into an organization and being put in charge or empowered, like we talked about a second ago, being empowered to make decisions and really, again, rebuild or build an organization to be incredibly impactful. And so I'm so excited to go in and talk about that because I know you have that energy and that passion. It's like I'm shaking things up. It's like I'm making a difference.
Yeah. I don't know how much time you have. I have lots of stories to tell.
Yeah.
We talked about our extrovertedness. Is that a word?
Yes.
There's a story right there with the chamber. And I was really excited to take this role. I left the Heartland Area Chamber of Commerce to kind of, expand on my career, went kind of corporate, wasn't the entrepreneur, role. This opened up. I'll just kind of tell you the story how I got there. I texted someone I knew there, and I was like, what's going on in Novi? And she's like, call me. So, it just kind of escalated from there and started conversation with board members, went through the interview process. And, during that process, I look back now on it and I really was more of I felt like a consultant because they're asking me questions. I'm giving them answers and they're like, well, what should we do? Should we do this or this? And I was like, this really isn't an interview. This is like, I'm consulting them.
Yeah.
There's like, what would you do in this situation? I'm like, well, it's not what you do, it's what you need to do. If you want to grow, you had said, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yep.
And I just kind of felt they weren't kind of feeling it. They're feeling like they were going in that direction. So, I think they're looking to me to kind of just take them to the next level. So, and since I've been there, I've stirred the pot quite a bit. They threw a lot on my plate. I've embraced it. I've put the hours in, I've put the energy in, trying to build those strategic relationships and partnerships, within the county, within the city, all the business members. There's 4,000 businesses in Novi. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy. We don't have that many members. I'm not gonna lie. But that's the reason I said, I see so much opportunity. And there's so much opportunity for growth. And if, as a business person, if you can look at it from that angle, just like not a job, right? Like, what's the opportunity? Where do the opportunities lie? And sometimes you got to go digging, and just keep digging. And if you keep digging, they'll come up. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. There's a lot more to the story, but
yeah. But when you get in there, what do you do first?
So, like, my first day on the job, my chairman, who rocks, by the way, he's like, I want you to meet me at this building. And he basically threw me keys and said, okay, this is our new space and you get to build it out. And it was basically a gutted space. And I was like, what am I getting into?
You get a whole canvas.
We just moved in 2 weeks ago. It's a beautiful, brand new space, glass wall conference room, meeting spaces. We're right on Main Street in Novi. So we're in what the mayor just recently coined in the state of the city as the city center, because we don't have a downtown. Like some communities don't have a downtown, but we have this city center space. And so with the chamber being there, being more visible, our foot traffic has upticked at least 50% since we've moved in this space 3 weeks ago. So we're getting the foot traffic. And then, how do we pay for this space, right? So I went on a campaign. You want to advertise? as a member business want to advertise in here, we're going to be having meetings in here and committee meetings and board meetings. And I already have a few businesses that have said, well, hey, I know all these other doctors. This would be a great neutral meeting space for us to meet. I'm like, perfect. So it's open to our members. It's a member benefit. We kind of went on like, I don't want to call it a capital campaign, but it's kind of been like this, mini.
You have to pay for it somehow.
Well, exactly. But I'm a under promise, over deliver kind of person. So how can we really expose our businesses in this space? So we are, this beautiful wall where they're going to be all advertised with these beautiful metal discs. And so just all those things, the business directory and sponsorships and events and, there's more professional development, and let's talk about workforce development. So we're collaborating with the city and with the schools, and it's all those things that chambers should be doing, and just understand the community and what the needs are. And I mean, it's a slow roll. I've only been there 6 months. I think my board's pretty pleased. So, but it's been good. It's been good. We're growing. We're on definitely making some internal changes in process to make sure that things are running smoothly and that we're scalable. You can't grow if you're not scalable.
Yeah.
And then, pretty soon I feel like we're just like a bottled up firecracker, and yeah, exactly. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's so cool to be coming into a situation where they're going to rebuild and put you in an awesome location. You get the reins to
It's been fun.
Make it what you want.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Go to our website. Check. Oh, actually, it's on our website. Social media.
Yeah.
Follow Novi Chamber.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you said your foot traffic has increased dramatically.
Our foot traffic has. It was great to work from home this morning because I was able to get a lot done. The foot traffic has increased from just people coming in off the street to, our members stopping by. I think they're curious too. They want to see the new space. So, yeah, it's been good.
How did you start working with chambers and to begin with in like Heartland Chamber? Like what led you, how did you grow up and what led you to this path?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I always say nobody in high school says, when I grow up, I want to run a chamber.
Exactly.
It's just not a career path. I fell on the Heartland Chamber job years and years ago. Years and years. I'm really going to date myself. What was it? Like 1999.
Okay.
South Lyon Chamber. Started there. So I had a little bit of experience, but going into the Heartland Chamber. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, just, the position opens up and I think it's just something you pursue. It is like running your own business. I think that's a misconception. A lot of people think that chambers of commerce are associated with the local municipality, and they're not. They're their own entities. They're nonprofits. As when you're at the helm, I mean, you're running it like your own business. You're responsible for everything: HR, payroll, income, expenses. I mean, you name it. You're running the business. Your board, they're volunteers. Right? They're not getting paid. You're getting paid to do the job.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, I don't know. You just kind of fall in it. I think, I went away from it a little bit, really blessed to get this position in Novi. And I think it just really fits my personality. So, and it's been good. I think if you're in chamber work, you're a collector and connector of people. I mean, that's the job in a nutshell. You're making sure you're helping businesses from all aspects. We are not an email marketing company. Some people think that we are, but we are not. That's not what we do. And we don't sell lists, So, joking aside, but yeah, so business resources, tools, making sure that it's our full-time job to get strategic partnerships and bleed those into businesses so we can help them in every aspect. So from whether it's, actual resources or like events and opportunities, that's a big one, especially small to medium-sized business. They want opportunities.
Yeah.
We're done with COVID. It's all face-to-face. I have more businesses tell me we love face-to-face. That's how we build trust. That's how we build relationships. So it's so good to hear that because I don't know. My favorite part of my job is I introduce you to somebody and then you say, oh, well, I need that. Oh, you know what I do? I go, you guys just made my day's best favorite part of my job. And I walk away.
Yeah.
My job is done. I want those connections. That's what makes the world go round.
Oh, it's so huge. It's so powerful and rewarding when you make that connection and they're kicking, they connect
they
right
take
away.
off.
Yeah.
And what goes around comes around, right? Because someday someone's going to give that connection back to you.
That's absolutely it.
Which I call a new member.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Well, because it goes back to, again, providing that value. Mm-hmm. That's part of why you would join a chamber is not just getting that direct connection, but to be able to make connections when you have someone like yourself that loves and thrives off of facilitating.
Love it. Yeah. And people join for different reasons too.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm on the podcast because I look at it as kind of educating folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too, right. I mean, part of, a lot of people don't know what chambers do. Some do, some don't. But, and each chamber is different. And each chamber offers, it depends on their community and the businesses that they serve. And we're always evolving. If you're not growing, you're dying. So we have to grow and evolve and offer tools and resources and opportunities that, really help our members, depending. And it's a variety too, because everyone joins for different reasons. Maybe they need the face-to-face. Maybe they just want to support and know that you're advocating for business and they believe in that.
Yep.
Maybe it's, they like to come to the golf outing and drink bourbon all day. Everyone has, different reasons for joining the chamber.
Yeah, so, sometimes it's just a thing that you do.
Yeah, and it's all good. We're happy. If that makes you happy, we're totally happy. So, however we can be of service too. We offer so much. From strategic marketing, that's my favorite. Aligning yourself with the chamber. The chamber's super connected. No matter what chamber you're a part of, they're connected in your community. So it's smart from a business standpoint to align your marketing dollars or your sponsorship dollars and strategically market yourself through the chamber's channels.
Yeah,
because they know the audience, they have the audience, and they can guide you. And there's probably 101 different, ways to invest.
So one of the benefits when I first joined the chamber was that as a member, like what you were talking about, you can use the office space there. And because I didn't have an office space, I was meeting people in coffee shops and stuff like that. It was like perfect. And so I'd have team trainings with my clients and, all kinds of stuff. I'd do one-on-one meetings and stuff like that at the chamber, and it allowed me to build relationships with all the people of the chamber. They all knew me really well. So starting off as a new business where nobody knew me, it was like I was checking in, like I worked there as much as they did, and so they got to kind of see what I was doing and what kind of clients I had come in. I scheduled and did speaking events, which allowed me to meet new people, and I got clients out of them every single time I did a speaking event. And so that was how I started.
We need to talk about that too for later, speaking events.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rope you in just a little bit.
By the way, I did the retreat, the Unplugged retreat that I was talking about is where I met Robert McElmurray, who is your speaker in September.
Yes.
He was the podcast guest that I had, and he's your speaker in September.
Yes,
and
thank you for the connection.
It's the connections.
That is, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
It's the connections.
Connecting the right people. Yes, Robert's coming talking about our artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And it was a great way for us to engage our Rising Professionals group. They're sponsoring the event. So
super awesome.
Or they're hosting, I shouldn't say sponsoring, they're hosting the event. So so far, he seems great. I'm excited to meet him in person.
He's great. He's super smart. He knows a lot of stuff. But what I love about him is he talks, you know what he's talking about. When he talks at a level that he's not talking over you, though he could probably easily do that. Yeah, exactly.
He keeps it second grade is what I call it. Yeah,
exactly.
So we understand.
Exactly. So I got to spend this weekend with Robert. And so we were talking about him coming up in September and speaking with you guys and stuff like that. And so
good.
Just a super awesome guy. But I got to know him better this week because we stayed and it was a shared experience. But I last year at that Unplugged event, I met Dr. Rhonda, who's been on the episode, or has been on Coffee and Grit, Brandon, who's the organizer that has been on Coffee and Grit, Corey Luber, Lisa Humphreys, Corey Thompson. And then Corey Thompson was on, and then I had another guy that was on Strawsome, and Strawsome ended up sponsoring Corey's event. He was their main sponsor. Just how the interconnections from Coffee and Grit, how they all work.
I love it. If I ever need a speaker, I might have to call you.
That's absolutely it. Like, who's been on?
Yeah.
It's the Rolodex.
Yeah. That's a word I haven't heard in a long time.
I know.
Rolodex.
It's a word I haven't said in a long
When I
time.
first started my real job, I actually had a real Rolodex. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing. We're building our Rolodex, right? We're building our pipeline of connections.
Yes.
And connecting the right people to push business forward, right? To push it, keep pushing it. So.
Absolutely, because we were talking before we came on. I don't know, maybe it was recorded or maybe it wasn't, when I was talking about my friend that's looking for a job, and you're like, wait a minute.
I might
that's how
know
it happens. That's how it happens. Is you're talking, and I told her we met last week, and I'm like, I'll keep you in my mind, because as I'm talking to people and they say, oh, I'm really looking for this, like, ding, you need to meet her,
Yeah, I mean, gosh, we could go down a rabbit hole talking about workforce today, but that's the name of the game. Most jobs are found by somebody you know.
Absolutely.
And somebody that can vouch for you, right, as, a reliable person or so on and so forth. But, I love doing that too, is if somebody's looking for a new job or somebody's hiring, it's just good the more you share about your business with other like-minded professionals.
Absolutely.
They'll keep you in mind. They'll remind, you never know who's going to remember.
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, I was just talking to someone last week. Oh yeah, so-and-so, they're looking for, you want a new job? I can connect you. Like, I love those connections too. It's not just about building. That's part of building business. You got to have the right workforce, and the right people on your team, on the bus, in the right seat, driving the bus, right? We know that saying. Yeah.
Yep.
So, that's awesome.
It's awesome. It takes a lot too from that small business owner to really know what they want. Because, when you come to meetings and you can let people know this is what I'm looking for, it helps people really get a crystal clear clarity around how you can help somebody. Because I think overall people do want to help, but you don't necessarily know how. And I think when people go to events, they're like, they want business. And so they're trying to give their little pitch on that or whatever.
Well, now you have me thinking about Paula.
Yeah.
She plugged me on your podcast, so I got to plug her, right? It goes around, comes around. You're welcome, Paula. But anyway, we've known each other a really long time. But she is speaking as well to the Novi Chamber. And, you talk about that when people go to networking events, and a couple of things come to mind with this is they know they're there to network, but maybe they don't know how to do it. I don't want to say right, but
yeah.
So she's gonna. Her talk is, stop networking and start connecting. I think is the title.
Yep.
So how do you position yourself to connect? What kind of? Maybe you should think about it before you walk in. Like, I need to challenge myself and meet somebody new. A lot of times I'll go to networking events and it's the same people, talking to the same people. And I've said this before at events. I've gotten on the microphone, which is my favorite thing to do. And I'll say, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to walk away with 2 new business cards today. People you don't know. They want to meet new people too.
Yep.
Just remember that, So yeah, those were my 2 things about networking. So networking is such a vague word.
It's an old, tired word, and people are intimidated by it or don't want to do it.
So I love this book. It's called Remembership, and the author's escaping me right now, but it is one of my favorite books. I've actually scribbled notes all inside the cover. And there's a phrase in that book. It says, it's not networking, it's building your network. There's a big difference.
Yep.
Networking is going and talking to people and go, hi, I'm Katie, and I do this and I do that. Building your network is that meaningful relationship that you talk about,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You're the story that you have to tell, listening to other people's stories, being an active listener, like all these qualities that when we go listen to presentations and they tell us what we need, you have to implement them. So, and that's how you build your network, ask questions of what do you do? How did you get there?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing it? What's your perfect customer look like? What are you looking for today? If you go in with just 5 questions, you'd be amazed how much information you can get out.
And I think that's key right there, is that networking, people think that they've got to do their quick elevator pitch, their quick commercial, because they're looking for that business. And, and then there's a lot of pressure and, feeling like they have to talk or they have to be that,
That's old
person.
school.
But going with the questions, other people want to talk. And if you can find out who these people are, and then what's that next step? How do you connect with them afterwards? Because this isn't just I run into you once a month or every once in a while at a chamber event, and then, we do our artificial thing. How can I connect with you more outside of this?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think by me asking you questions, getting to know, like before we were on, I was like, we were talking about basketball. I was asking about your son and how old he was. Like, I'm truly interested. I want to know, your roots, right? And, maybe something a little personal about your family or whatever. It's just kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
We're building a relationship. It's not just, what do you do? What do you sell? That, I think I just feel like it's a little old school. It's a known fact that people will buy from people that they trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you build the trust and how do you be your authentic self in building that trust? Sometimes it takes time. But the payout could be huge, right? I've learned that at the chamber. It took a long time to build those relationships and have them trust me. And, those sponsors that gave us sponsorship dollars, and you're delivering on said deliverables. It could be many things.
Yep.
The deliverables for the sponsorship, the advertising, the exposure, maybe they get to introduce a speaker. Like, there's a variety of things, and we won't go down that rabbit hole, but and then, like I said, under promising and over delivering. Guess what? That's the relationship. That's the trust. They'll come back. They see the value. They're going to market with you. They're going to align with you. So, yeah, I believe in that. The deep relationships.
How do you, as you're coming into the Novi Chamber in December, and you have to build quick relationships, right?
Yeah.
How do you speed that process up?
Yeah, I did. I really relied on the board. They're leaders in our community.
Yeah.
And they were introducing me to the right people and vouching. I mean, the whole Katie's our new president and you got to entrust in her and she's doing so great. I mean, they were giving me all these kudos. I'm very humble. I don't need the kudos. I don't need the positive reinforcement. I just, I need like a good dinner, a glass of wine at the end of the day, and I'm good. So, but they have been wonderful, and just, and then their own support, whether it's, just support through their network or their financial support, whatever it is, especially on the build out of the new space. That's been really good. But yeah. And then, Farah that works at the chamber too, she's super connected. She's been there a long time. She's introduced me to so many wonderful people and wonderful businesses. And they see us working together as a team and making things happen. So that's been good too. But yeah, I'm getting there slowly, but it takes a while.
Yeah.
Because
you made that comment earlier about how it was like, I forgot what you compared it to, but it was, being on the cruise ship. And you're like, Judy, the cruise director, and everybody.
Yeah.
To being lost at sea.
Yes. I shared with you, I think before we started recording, I said, about a month or two in, sitting in a board meeting, I said, I wanted stuff. I'm like, I want it now. And my board's like, whoa, you're doing fine. It's okay. Like, they had to talk me off the shelf, And I'm like, I know, but I could do this, I'm just a go-getter. And so, I told them, I said, when I was in Livingston County, I felt like I was on a cruise ship and I was, Judy, the cruise director, and I just was connected. I knew everybody. I know Pam at Brighton. I know Janelle at Howell. I just, Livingston County's, it's big, but when you're in that position, it's not that big, anymore. And all the businesses, and it wasn't uncommon for a business to be a member of all three chambers in Livingston County. But Oakland County's big, and Novi's big. So
how many businesses did you say were in Novi?
About 4,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty big. So, yeah. And so I felt like I was on a cruise ship. And I live in Livingston County too, and I have kids, and you get connected that way, as you know.
Yep.
So out in Novi, I said, yeah, but I kind of feel like now I'm just on a tugboat all by myself in the middle of the ocean starting over. But yeah, I don't feel like I'm on a tugboat anymore. But
Well, that's the cool thing is like, because
I've
we've gotten
upgraded.
new jobs where I've felt that way, where it's like, all the processes, the people, everything's familiar. And then you go to a new job and it's like, everything's different. Like I've celebrated when the UPS guy comes and it's like, you're the same UPS guy. This is
Yeah,
amazing.
a familiar face.
I'm familiar with you.
It's so exciting. One person, I know one person.
But then you get to know the people, and
Yes.
it's a process. But
It
then now you have the people in the networks and family that you have here, and then you have them over here too.
Yeah. And I've said, when people have asked me, like, how's it going? I'm like, well, chamber work's chamber work in my eyes. And anyone that's listening or listens to this and runs a chamber or is in chamber work, they know what I'm saying when I say that. It's just different people. It's different opportunities. It's different, running the chamber, it's very similar. But yeah, just, building your network, seeing what the businesses need. My first 2 weeks on that job, I put a survey out. I'm like, I can guess what businesses need, and
Yeah.
I can kind of go off what committees and board and staff are telling me, but I want to hear it from the cat's meow. So I sent a survey out. What do you need for your business strategy? What do you need for your success? The feedback I got was so amazing and so important. And then a few months later, we had our general membership meeting, and I told them, I listened to you. So here's the opportunities we're developing. You need to grow. You need professional development. Here's what we're doing. So yeah, that's been good too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so
I like
important
surveys.
to listen. Yeah. How else do you find out? Like you're gassed, you can throw darts at the board and hope something works.
And let's talk about surveys, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can ask you, what do you think of my event? If you didn't like something, you're not going to tell me to my face.
Yep.
You might tell me on a survey because it's nothing personal. It's business.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So surveys are good because stuff comes out, and that's good. The good and the bad are good. Like the bad feedback that you might think is bad, like, ooh, I didn't like that. That's okay. We can't improve if we don't know something was not to your liking.
Yeah.
So
It gets past the emotions and like the hurt feelings of
the face-to-face.
yeah.
So only the one time you can hide behind your computers on a survey. I'll allow that. No, I'm just kidding. So
And did you have that mindset with the survey going in, or when you got the first like harsh criticism where you're like, ooh, that sucks?
no, not at all. I mean, like I said, it's nothing personal. And most of them didn't even know me yet. So that was even better. And it was just like a kind of a 10 question, what I call it, quick and dirty survey. Like, what do you need? Just 10 questions. Just tell me, your feedback is crucial and critical.
Yeah.
We can't grow or develop as a chamber or as a business for that most part. I say if you run a business, survey your customers once in a while. See if they're really liking what you're delivering.
Absolutely.
Why not? You might say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. We can improve on that so easy. Sometimes it's so little.
Yeah.
It's just little turnkey kind of thing. So, yeah.
I got this, my first management leadership position. I went out to this struggling location out in Lansing, part of the company that I was working for they were the worst location in the whole entire company. And I didn't think about surveys then, but what I did was we had all the clients that did business with us, we had these files in a filing cabinet, and I literally for a couple months just stacked up every file, and I went through and I called every single person that ever did business with us. And it was along that lines of that survey. And I wanted to introduce myself. I'm the new manager of this location. And I wanted to get feedback from people. And it was like, what's going on? What's been your experience like? And people that were like, this is the worst location ever. I'd never do business there again. It's like, that's exactly why they brought me out. That's what I'm here to do. Give me a chance. Let's set a meeting. I'd love to have a chance to learn more about you and let you know how we can help you, that kind of thing. And then the people that were like, oh, I love that store. That's that's where I go. Great. I'm here to do more of that.
So smart.
Come in, meet with me. Within, a couple of days, more people were coming in and asking for me than there were anybody else in the location. And there was a guy that had been there for 7 years, so it was like, and, that was how we really started to take that location back, is when people were coming in and meeting me, they were understanding that what my vision was, what we're going to do at the location. And that was the foundation of getting, building that business back up.
Well, we talked about it earlier. You're building relationship, you're building trust.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And that's what people want.
Yep.
Yeah, so important. Yeah, you just reminded me. I was trying to get on the phone and call every one of our members. I haven't gotten through the entire list yet.
Yeah.
You get sidetracked because you
intensive.
also have your job to do,
Yes.
right? But yeah, so that was going good, and then I was able to just kind of go through what they need and see if we could align them, with us. Some of it was selling, but it's more like, getting to know you and what do you need.
That's absolutely it.
And if it works, if you want to align with us, great. If it doesn't, it's okay too. We're thrilled you're a member. So yeah, I still have to get through the list. So if Novi Chamber members are listening, I really want to connect with you. Please call me. So I just
easy.
haven't met everybody.
Yeah.
It's nice when they're like, we just had our golf outing last week. So I was like, yes, I put a face with a name.
Yeah.
And that was amazing because the next day I had a call with someone that I finally put a face with the name at the golf outing. We had a lovely call the next day. So, so it's just stuff like that.
It's the human connection.
It is. And I think thank yous go a long way too. Thank you. We did an event in April. We sent out thank you cards. I walked into the business. I just was kind of out and about, and I grassrooted, and I'm like, there's 5 businesses in a row. They're all members. I'm going to walk. It was like 4:00, and I spent like 2 hours just walking in to these retail locations, and I walked into an optical place, and our thank you card was sitting right behind the receptionist desk. And I was like, oh, you have our thank you card out? She's like, of course. And it was the only card on the thing.
That's awesome.
I think thank you cards go a long way too.
Huge.
So, yeah.
They're huge because nobody does them.
Yeah, I like to do thank you cards. Yeah.
It's very rare, though.
I'll tell you, Shelley Day, who is the executive director of the Fenton Chamber, she is retiring this year. When I started the Heartland Chamber, we connected, and she was a great mentor and very active at the time with the Michigan Association of Chamber Professionals, and just someone I could always lean on and get a resource from. And she hand writes cards to her members, just hello cards. Just thinking of you. We're here. If you need anything, let us know. We appreciate you. Whatever it is. She was telling me she does it. I'm like, she goes, I try to do like 10 cards a week. And I'm like, good for you.
That's awesome.
That's just such a nice touch. That could be the make or break of a membership right
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
And I'm like, I want to be like Shelley someday. So yeah, I just think it's cool.
Well, it's getting different ideas from different people.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
That's huge. But
I'm all about stealing ideas at work. And I'm also about giving ideas.
Yes.
I have no problem sharing any chamber resource with another chamber. It may work for you, it may not. So, and the chamber director network is wonderful. Wonderful. I have built a lot of friendships within that network too. And everyone's great about, what do you need or what can I get? Whatever. So.
It's awesome to hear because it's like you guys are all doing you're on the same mission essentially.
Yeah.
So to be able to help each other out, even though you're different communities and maybe competition?
I don't view it as competition. I think we have an expo coming up in July, and it's 6 chambers.
Yeah.
6 chambers
Yep.
are doing this expo. It's the Suburban Collection Showplace. So, we just kind of came together, formed an alliance, and, it's all about the economy. How can we help these businesses and better the economy? If we can come together, share resources to do that.
It gives back to the membership.
Guess what? Everything's great for we're just helping everybody.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So.
No, I spend a lot of time talking about that difference between that scarcity mentality and there's competition versus the abundance, and we can do more together. Because you had said like there's Heartland, Howell, Brighton. There's people that are either members of all 3, or they've got to pick a couple, or they're only picking one, and so it can be that level of competition. At the same time, you guys are on the same mission. You're all doing a similar job in the sense that you can learn from each other, grow from each other, or you collaborate and bring together events that give back to the membership, because now there's even more opportunity. There's more people to meet.
Absolutely. I always tell businesses too, you join a chamber where you want to do business with who you think the audience is. If you sit down with chamber staff, they can tell you who their audience is, who their members are, what their member makeup is. hopefully you can ask the right questions and get educated and make an educated decision for your business. But you know, what is it? 56% of consumers are more likely to do business with a business that is a member of the Chamber of Commerce. So that's a statistic, because you know they're advocating for business as a whole. So yeah, it's not competition. It's all for the greater good.
You'd made the comment of like entrepreneurship. That's my jam.
Oh yeah.
Like, what do you love most about entrepreneurship?
Oh wow. Everything. I mean, I don't know. It kind of what wakes me up in the morning, knowing that, okay, like I'm really good at prioritizing what needs to be done. I think I have the mentality members first. That's just kind of, I kind of say it to myself every day, members first, members first. So whatever we can do to put our members first. We have so much internal stuff that we have to get done, the social media posts and the newsletter and planning the next event and, finding this and finding that and resources and tools. But, when a member calls, like everything just kind of stops, we have to service them. That's what, that's what you're paying dues for. Right.
Yep.
So I don't know. I just, the fact that there's challenges, like cleaning up the books and, that's it. But I like that stuff. I like to be a problem solver. I like solving problems. Not math problems, like real life problems. So yeah, I think just knowing that we're helping people, it's a people job, I love people and I love connecting people. And I think it's fun. It's fun. It's getting to know different people and connecting them. And that's the entrepreneur part is, just know that we're helping business. And, it is kind of like, it is running your own business.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
because you have to, I was thinking as you were talking about that, like you have to hire people, you have to like go through that whole interview process, find the right team.
Yeah. That and, the books and, just everything and the association management software and all the tools that we use internally just to, like I said, so we can become scalable. And just the opportunities that are out there, not just for the chamber, not selfishly for the chamber, but the opportunities for our members are so huge. I haven't even scratched the surface, I feel like. And the more people I talk to, especially like my board members, I did one-on-one with each of my board members when I first started. I went to their office. I had meetings with them. That was so amazing, just to hear like, their point of view and all of that. That's what kind of wakes me up in the mornings, know that we're going to work together to kind of push the envelope a little bit, push business forward. So, yeah, it's exciting.
That's exciting.
I don't know. It's just my personality, I guess.
It like lights you up to be able to go in and like shake some things up.
Yeah, it's fun. That's fun. Yeah, I like it.
Awesome. So you're telling me your daughter is graduated already?
Yeah, my last one just graduated high school. Yep. Yeah. So
we were talking about the sports thing and everything. So we're talking about lacrosse.
Oh yeah. We're a big lacrosse family. So yeah, I have 4 daughters. My last one just graduated from high school. So our grad party's coming up this weekend. So I'm like chicken with a head cut off, trying to get ready for that. But yeah, it's exciting. So, and I have 2 kids that play women's college lacrosse.
Okay.
So yeah, big sports family. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you get a chance to go out and are they local or are they?
Yeah, I have one in Ohio at University of Findlay, and then my youngest that just graduated, she committed to playing at Northwood University in Midland, and they're going to play each other in college.
Oh, no way.
Yes. March 29th. Can't wait.
That is awesome. So, circle on the calendar. And
yeah, I always tell her, I'm like Mama Kelsey, I cheer for offense. So it's exciting. So we have that going on, in our household. And we're really, my husband's a high school official and we coached for years. And so we're really into lacrosse. It's really been fun.
So sports has been a big part of the family.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's so much out of that. Like a lot of guests recently, we've been talking about like the sports and how that applies to business and just really like development throughout your life.
For sure. Oh, I agree. 100%. I've tried to instill that with my kids and they're both studying business too, to boot.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm like, yes. So yeah, I mean, what you learn on the field or on the court or whatever, you can, it's the drive, right? The grit. There you go. There's the word. It's the grit that you take from sports and you apply it to your life.
Yeah.
And you apply it to business and you apply it to what you do on a daily. Yeah, for
It's
sure.
performing. It's being coached.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up playing sports and my dad used to throw the hard ball, not the softball, but the baseball as hard as he could at me at 12 years old. And I had to catch it. And if I didn't, I was either going to break a window behind me or I was going to get my face knocked off.
Yeah.
So I learned, I had 3 brothers and they all played baseball and I got that ball chucked at me. And I grew up playing softball. But yeah, sports for me personally too, I think made me, kind of tenacious.
Tell me more about that.
I grew up playing softball, cheerleading. So I cheered in college.
Oh, awesome.
So, just huge commitment and time management.
Yeah.
I mean, you had classes and then you had workouts and then you had the gymnastics part, then you had the stunting part, and then you actually had the games. And then I was trying to hold down a part-time job and try to pass my classes. And that all bled from when I was a kid, making sure my parents made sure I was at every, I never missed practice. You commit. Like there were days I didn't want to go. My mom's like, you're going. Like you committed to it. And I think that just, growing up playing sports and not, by the time I was in high school, no way was I missing. I wasn't missing a practice. I wasn't missing a game. And my parents never missed either. They were at everything. So I think that just bleeds over into, it helped me. It doesn't help. Not everybody plays sports, but maybe it's another passion that you have. Maybe it's, you have a musical instrument or whatever it is, but that you commit to as a kid. And so we try to instill that in our kids too. And then, it's gonna help you in the long run. You have kids. I don't want to go. You're going. They're gonna thank you later.
Yeah.
My older kids thank me, and they both are driven and, they're hard workers and making a good run at their careers. And it's because I didn't let them slack. There's no slacking. You commit, you go all the way.
Yep.
So same thing with your daily, right? If you're going to wake up in the morning, commit to the day, So it's just
I love it
carries
because I asked the question earlier, like, how do you think you got here? I love diving into like the early childhood, the stuff like that. Because like there's a reason why we do what we do.
Yeah. It is. You gave me a little self-reflection there for a minute. I haven't done that in a long time. What did I bring over from my childhood? Oh, yeah, the grit in sports,
Yeah.
So.
Well, and taking on that challenge and committing.
Yeah. It is. It helps. Like I said, I don't care what it is. Not everybody plays sports, but, if you have something that, you can reflect on that helps you commit to, giving it your all during the day. Why not? Don't get me wrong. I give it my all and I turn into a pumpkin at like 9:30 at night. Like I'm tired. I'm done. So.
And then back up and do it all over again.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I told you I had to watch this one movie. I talked about this movie, but I really, honestly, I can't think the movie that I've seen before that I can't even remember because I haven't watched TV in like weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
There are days where I'll binge watch like a series, but I'm usually go. And I get home from work and I'm go. We're at lacrosse or we're doing this or we're doing laundry, a grad party. Like I'm not, TV's kind of a, I don't know, back burner.
Yeah.
So
You're not rushing home to get your.
Yeah. We watched a movie over the weekend because it was like the kids are home. I'm like, let's all watch a movie. I'm like, okay, I'll make popcorn. So,
Yeah.
So we watched a cheesy movie. It was good though. Got to have it once in a while.
I'm so curious. I love that passion of finding out why people do what they do because I feel like there's those things from your childhood, from growing up that like plant that seed of like why you take on those challenges, why you're so passionate about, what you're doing. I know for me, just, growing up the way I did, having the like abusive dad I did, like these different things give me like this level of empathy that when I'm meeting with people, like it's like that there's like the whole,
no judgment zone. You can
no
say
judgment.
It.
Yep. Yep. There's no judgment. Like when I was, as far as
We
being
all
a sales
have ghosts
leader,
in our closet.
we all have ghosts in our closet.
We all have ghosts.
That's absolutely it. That's absolutely. And so like even sitting down with people at the Unplugged and they're vulnerable to tell their story, and having people on the show that are like, I can't say that, or, I don't want to tell that story. Well, that's the thing that pulls people in. People want to hear that. And
They do.
because they want to know that the people that they look up to, they went through challenges too.
Yeah. And I think too, when people open up, then they say that, I don't want to share my ghost story, but when they're done, they're usually relieved.
Absolutely.
They're like, it felt so good to get that off my chest. There was no judgment, and you can't judge a book by its cover. We're in the people business, Jason. We have to open the cover and turn all the pages and get to know people.
Absolutely.
So we can help them. Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Well, because we can't solve problems by knowing the surface problem. Right. When someone says to you, like, I want more business, well, what does that look like even?
Yeah, those were all those other questions I was talking about coming in. Like, okay, whoa, hold your horses. Like, you're in fourth gear. We got to go back to first gear. So that's when you ask the questions. Okay, well, let's talk about what do you do? Like, what's your business? What's your, all those questions we talked about earlier. Just kind of diving in. And, I think maybe some people just don't know how to ask those questions.
They don't.
So how can we help them? Like I know just because doing chamber work a long time, and I feel like, because that's my job. If you want to join the chamber, I'm not going to just spew off, this is what we do. We do so much. I need to, quote unquote, qualify. You were in sales, as I was, you need to qualify. So, okay, what do you do? What's your favorite customer look like? All those questions about your business, what do you need? Do you need marketing? Do you need HR? Do you need, what is it? What is it that you need that, like, if you were to rate them 1, 2, 3, what would it be? So it's a craft. I think it doesn't come natural to some people. It doesn't come natural to me all the time. For chamber, it does, because I truly want to know about your business. Hey, oh, really? You have that? I know a guy that can help you.
Yep.
But it's going to cost you a membership. It's always that caveat. So
yeah.
But no, I do like connecting people.
Yeah. Well, again, when we dive deep there, you said like people don't know, and that's exactly it. They don't know. I think Henry Ford said, if I did what my customers wanted me to do, I would have had to figure out a way to build a faster horse. Instead, he invented the automobile, right? They didn't know that was even that was a thing, or that it could be done, right? And so our people that were our customers, or our people that we're serving, they don't know what's possible. They don't know even sometimes what their whole challenge is. They know either they're not getting business or they're not making money, but there's a whole bunch of, scenarios that may play into that. What is actually happening? We need to really uncover that in order to fix the problem.
Well, I think that goes along too with helping people build their network.
Yeah.
Like we talked about. I mean, they might not know, but the more people they get to know and the more they build their network, it might uncover some of that,
5,000%. Because that's honestly what people mostly, exactly. But that's what most people struggle with. And even so, I'm working with people on sales and like how to overcome, but they've got to have enough cracks. They've got to have enough relationships and conversations and go through the process in order to get good. You're closing 80%, but if you're closing 80% of 2, you've got to have more relationships, more conversations, more connections, and not just sales or business, but building more relationships, because those relationships carry you through.
Yeah, you talk about sales. This reminds me, we had a chamber member give like a small presentation to our business builders group, and he has this 6 steps to selling, and he went through it and how it helped his business, and he actually had the statistics on his close rates and everything, and I was like floored. And I was like, I really need you to present this to everybody in the chamber. Like, will you be a presenter for me coming up? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, people like that, like if I knew that about you, like I just can't close, I'm like, I need to introduce you to Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we talked about, like getting to know what different people do to help them connect and get more customers and build those relationships and build the trust and all of that we talked about.
Well, that's a win-win, because you help the person that you're talking to, and then you connect a member to, to somebody that is potentially an ideal person for them.
Yes. Yes. And 9 times out of 10, I would say, if I had worked to connect you with someone else, that person then will connect you with someone else.
Absolutely.
It's just it's just the pyramid, it just starts, or the domino effect, or whatever you want to call it. That's usually what happens. And that is so great to see. That's so great to see.
Yeah, it's referrals. When you get referrals and connections, like I always notice from a sales standpoint, people that were referred to me were far more likely to refer one of their friends to me, because that's how they came in, and then
they're
go out.
vouching for you.
They're vouching for you.
Yeah, like Jason really, did me good. He treated me well. I did business with him. They speak highly when you treat somebody well. You take care of them. Yeah.
And it's social currency. And, so at the event this week, kind of, for example, I didn't know anybody at the event last year. I knew there's 2 people that signed up because they knew I was going to be there. And so I knew a couple people, and I knew Brandon, the organizer of the event, but I didn't know anybody else. This year, I knew everybody that was a speaker there, and I had great relationships with them, and every single person that was a speaker there this year had been on Coffee and Grit. And so had always been kind of an intentional part of my process. Coffee and Grit, the podcast, was always a piece for me to take a relationship with somebody that I saw as a difference maker, that I'm like, I want to have more conversation with you. And also, what can I give back to you? Oh, let's have you on the podcast, because then we'll get to know each other even more. We'll dive into a conversation, and then I can put content out there to help drive more visibility to you too on top of it.
Win-win.
Win-win, right? Mm-hmm. And so Dr. Rhonda was there, and she has this like marketing team, producer Rachel, who is like from the Mojo in the Morning, and her husband are her people that are like branding her and putting her out there. And so she's like up there, and she has a great message and speech and whatnot, but she was teaching people how to do this, how to connect, how to build relationships, how to build the relationships with the right people, how to understand who your target client is, like your exact person. And she talked about this concept of the 90 or the net 90 or something like that, but it's like the 90 people. And she keeps a list of 90 people that she wants to stay in front of. And so those 90 people, periodically, she shoots them a message, or she connects them with somebody, or if she reads an article that reminds them of them. She does something in order to stay in front of these 90 people that she's deemed, these are my critical people in my network. And so as she was talking, and in front of this whole audience, she said, Jason Tracy's in my 90, and I don't think he knows it. And that's so really awesome, right?
Do you feel privileged? Like, it's almost like she has this 90 list. I would feel like, wow, I made her 90 list.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's really, really cool. Because she's an influential person, and to be in her 90 people that she, really makes sure she takes care of those relationships, and, tries to stay in front of them. That feels
I need to meet her.
Super impressive. You need to meet Dr. Rhonda. She's awesome. And she's a chiropractor. So her and Paula know each other as well. So
I wonder if I know her.
Rhonda Vaughn.
I think I know her.
Okay. Super awesome. Another difference.
Where's her practice? Do you know?
In Clarkston.
I think I've heard Paula mention her. So
yeah, she has this whole like talking about, she's a we person, right? So she's like, I'm a solopreneur, and I was like, how do I do we? And so she's created this whole thing. We talked about it in the podcast, but she has a gang of 5, like these 4 other women that do something that caters to her target client, which she's named Ashley. Ashley's a 35-year-old married woman that is like the housewife that drives a white Tahoe, that likes to
totally stressed out
drink
from
coffees.
Her kids all over.
Exactly. So this is Dr. Rhonda's target client, and so she's partnered with 4 other women that have that same target client: the person that owns the coffee shop, right, or the person that owns the place that does acai bowls and smoothies, or the person that does like workouts like yoga or Pilates, or and they plan these events once a month that attracts her target client, and they don't do business, they don't sell to them, they just do wine nights. How fun. Or they do these different events that just pull these people in from experiences.
I'm not 35, but I'm attracted to that.
And that's the thing. And so Rhonda's not 35. That's what she addressed in the thing. She's like, this was I was Ashley, 10 years ago or whatever. And so
I was her a lot longer.
But so it's like, it's really cool how she does it. But So my whole point was when I was speaking, it was like how to build those relationships and really amplify your roar and who you are. And my whole point, it was really cool that she said that in her morning session, because then I was able to come back in my speech and talk about I didn't know anybody here last year. Through this process that I now have a relationship with somebody that I see as very influential, that has me in her top 90 people that she wants to stay in front of, like, because of what I've done through my process intentionally. I'm now on other important people's top 90 people.
Yeah. I mean, you're so motivating me right now, because I want to be that at the Novi Chamber.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be that, that person that people look to not influential, but a person that can connect them in such a meaningful way. So yeah, that's super inspiring. Thanks for sharing that story with me.
Oh, my pleasure.
Gosh, everyone has a story, Jason. I think you have like 400 stories.
I collect them.
Yeah,
well,
I love
that's the thing. And so, stories are always so important. It's the whole theme of the show. Stories are data with soul. You hear somebody's story, and I can guarantee you someone else is going through that situation. And then they hear it and they're like, oh, and then that's how she got out of it. I wonder if I did that.
Yeah. Yeah. So crucial. Yeah. So hopefully my story inspires someone. We'll see. I don't know. I'm still in my story at the chamber. I feel like,
Absolutely.
I'm still, that I'm new. I'm young. I mean, well, I'm not young, just be honest there, but I'm young in this role. Speaking of young, this just came to my brain. We had a group called Young Professionals.
Yeah.
And we kind of rebranded. I was talking to some of them. We were having a really insightful meeting, kind of I wanted to understand the group. I was new to the chamber, what their goals and objectives were. And really, they're rising professionals. Young is, we're inclusive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm not young, but I don't consider myself young. Sometimes, but I consider myself a rising professional. I just started this new role. I don't care if you're 20 or you're 70 and you're working and you're in your career or whatever, you're rising. We're rising all the time. We can help rise each other up. So they jumped on board. We rebranded. Our chair actually created a new logo. And so it's been really good. So the rising professionals to me is just such a group that I want to nurture. I think there's so much potential, and I think that their networking, like, you got to be part of this group. It's so great, and those committees, that engagement piece, right? We haven't talked about engagement. Engagement means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For me, engagement is the relationship. Building the relationship, engaging with our business partners and our members, and the introductions and everything that you and I have just talked about, so critical. So these different committees, like the Rising Professionals, I just see them being just kind of at the top of the food chain for engagement. So yeah, it's exciting to see. Sorry, I was off on a rant.
No, that's awesome. I love it. And this again, so when I joined the chamber, I felt like I was already past the young professional stage. I was like 39 when I started my business. And it was like, I think that they had like 30 young professionals, 35 and under or something. It's like, oh, I'm already. And so they rebranded to Rising or whatever. And it was like,
I love it.
Because again, I don't know. I'm 45, but I don't know if I necessarily feel like that.
Well, I'm older than you, and I don't feel my age either. It's like when I work out, I have to remind myself, you're not 25 anymore. You can't do it like that anymore.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you, the rising professionals. I mean, and that's the beauty too. It's like you talk about like these groups that you're involved with, like the retreat that you did and your network and being part of the 90 and all of that. And it's so important to have groups that you can identify with or that you're feeling a part of. And, in the chamber world, that's what we do is we're creating different platforms for you to feel a part or get involved with the community, get involved in different committees or, groups and things like that. And it's so critical that's the platform for helping you build your network. I mean, that's basically in a nutshell what I feel like we do. We want to be, I've said this a lot, and those that know me have probably heard me say this a lot, but I feel like we I want to be and I strive to be the silver platter of all the great things that you need for, maybe it's not just for your business, maybe it's for you as a person, because I have seen people through the chamber flourish as people.
Yeah.
Just as an individual, as a human being, become better, become a better person, become a better networker, be happier because they built their network. Money's rolling in.
Yeah.
They have new customers. They're nurturing those customers through the chamber. Maybe they're business to business or whatever. So us as the silver platter of opportunities, tools, resources, benefits, whatever it is. The beauty of the membership is you can pick and choose what works for you. And I think because we offer so much, people get confused.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, just come and we'll explain the platter to you and we'll help you pick what works for you. And you just go from there, and it's just taking small steps. Sometimes it takes, I've seen with businesses, sometimes it's an instant, an instant transaction or instant, they hit it off with somebody and like a week later they're doing business together. I've also seen where it takes a while,
Yep.
but the payoff's big.
Yep.
So, I don't know everyone's business and I don't make it my business to know everyone's business. I just want to know enough to help you. So that's kind of another rant, but it's so critical, right? To help people. That's what we're doing.
It is. And I love how you said sometimes it's instant and sometimes it's the long game, but either way, it's the consistency. If you show up to one event and you didn't get business out of it, like, you can't think of it like I've got to go and get a transaction, right? You got to think about it like I've got to go build relationships and build, community.
Yes.
Because that stuff the good stuff will happen out of it. If you go help people, if you go listen to people and truly think, like, how can I help them? I talk about this in my sales program all the time. There's inward mindset and there's outward mindset. In most sales, most relationship building from that standpoint of currency is done from that inward space of, I need to make this sale. I need to build membership up. I need to hit my quota. If I don't sell this, I'm going to go out of business, or my wife wants a boat, or my boss is going to write me up. All these things we're thinking about when we're selling. And it's stressful.
So stressful. Quota sales is stressful.
Quota sales is stressful. Outward mindset is, what's going on in the person across from me? What's going on in their world? What are their goals and dreams and aspirations, and what's preventing them from achieving that? And is there a way that I can help them? Whether it's my products or services, or do I know somebody that can help them? It's outward is the questions and the curiosity of, who is this person, right? Unfortunately, so many people go to events thinking about, what am I going to get out of this? I'm a part of a group called SiriusNet, and so many people that have come through are like, when do I get my first referral? Like, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You've got to go in with an open heart of like, how can I refer some of these other people? How can I connect these other people to their opportunities? How can I get to know more about them? And so like a group like that, for example, for me, being successful right out of the gates it's more than that that meeting. If I go to a chamber event, it's more than the after hours and I meet some people. I'm going to reach out to those people afterwards. Let's connect so I can learn more about you, because I'm not learning everything about you at this event.
Right. It's too busy.
It's too busy. How can we connect and build a relationship outside of here?
I so heartedly agree with you, because at a lot of times we hear this is, well, I didn't get anything out of the chamber.
Yeah.
If you think about that phrase, and it's said a lot, I didn't get anything out of the chamber. That's not why you joined. And we were clear why you were joining.
But we gave you a goodie bag at the beginning. No.
So there are businesses that want that tangible. They want they go in saying, I need to find a customer and I need to close a sale.
Yep.
Because I don't know what's going on over here, that they have quota, or that they're pressure from their boss, or they could lose their job if they don't hit their quota. Like, I mean, I've been in sales too. I know what that pressure feels like. As chamber, like I'm the latter, what you explained, right? So what do you need? All of that we, you and I have been talking about. And I think just from personal watching this, those work. the long game, like you talked about, the relationship building, those work.
Those work.
You have to stay consistent, and you have to, like you said, follow through later. Like, hey, I met you at this event. I got your business card. It was a little crazy, but I felt like we connected. Do you want to go get a cup of coffee? That's how it started. It's not, well, I didn't get a sale. I went to this chamber event and I got nothing out of it. Well, what did you do at the chamber event? Did you expect someone to go, I'm going to write you a check right now? Because that does not happen. So
people expect that, though.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe
to some degree.
Some do. Yeah. And, I mean, I can't wave a magic wand and get you customers, but I want to say it's a little frustrating sometimes because we want people we want to be upfront and very clear upfront what the chamber is and what we do. So when you join, you're in it to win it for the long game, and you believe in community. You believe that, we are doing the right thing for business, advocating for business. So yeah, we do have those sometimes too, but
Well, and you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can put the people in front of them. You can do the events. But you can't make them do it the right way.
Yes, and I love that phrase. You can lead the horse to water. I like to say, but you can't make them drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But that, same thing. Yes, that's just it. Like, I can't close the sale for you. So, and it's okay. Like, we do have members that will not rejoin, because it's a year membership, and that's okay too. I've had conversations where I've actually sat down with chamber members and are like, I'm just not going to rejoin. I'm like, okay. And they're, I can try to resell them, but I'm like, you have to do what's best for you. We would love you to stay a member. Is there anything we can do? Are you taking advantage of this? Yes. Are you taking advantage of that? No. Did you do this? Did you do that? And most of the time they haven't done
the things.
Yeah. One of my favorite, and any business could do this, but one of the most favorite, if that's a phrase, is basically, it's a sheet of paper we put in our new member kits, and it's a 30, 60, 90, 120 day, what I should do. And I always tell chamber members, if there's one piece of paper to pin up, I would pin this up. And in those first 30 days, we're going to give you like 10 things. Just pick two. Pick two. Did you log on? Did you call the chamber and review your benefits? And after 60 days, it's like 2 other little things. Did you attend an event?
Yeah.
Did you meet with your ambassador? Did you have coffee with your ambassador? That is so huge because they might be able to connect you to like 2 other people.
Yeah.
If they start having those meaningful conversations. So we offer a lot, but just pick 2 things that work for you. It could be easy as a phone call. It could be actually meeting someone. So, that's been really helpful too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you can adapt something like that to your own business, to your customers.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So, like here's everything we do for you. In the first 30 days, or, maybe the first couple months you want to do this, or here's 2 services for you to think about, or whatever, however you want to adapt it. But kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I stole that. So I didn't come up with it. I have to be honest. So again, this is a chamber resource,
Absolutely.
though. I mean, the chamber world is so big, and I found this resource, and I was like, oh, can I borrow? They're like, yeah, absolutely, make it your own. So it's just called the ROI sheet, So
that's
cool
awesome.
Stuff like that, yeah.
That's so cool. To wrap up in the one thing you talked about, when people say, I've got to get business out of this, or I've got to do this or this, it's the same analogy as when somebody's looking for a spouse or a partner, and you're like, I've just gotta, I've gotta get this relationship. I've got to meet a wife. I've got to meet I got to get a girlfriend.
Online dating or something.
And it's like that cartoon of the little girl that like, I'll name you George and like pet you. And you're going after it so aggressive that everybody feels that. It's that commission breath. It's that, oh, watch out. This guy's going to try to sell us and pass out his card and talk about nothing but business. And so I think that we have a good community. There's a lot of people that don't do that anymore, but I think a lot of people, and the people that say, I didn't get anything out of it, they've got to look at more, what's your strategy, and are you looking at it from an inward or outward space? And that's just my tip for people that are listening and saying, I didn't get anything out of this, or how do I get more out of the chamber? It's not what more can you do, because I think you're putting a good grip on what kind of events and what your people need, what your members need. Now they got to go and they got to drink the Kool-Aid, right?
Right.
They've got to go do their thing in order to make sure they're putting themselves in the best position to take advantage of the resources that you're putting on their platter.
That's right. That's right. And there's a lot to be said for getting involved within your community, involved in, there's different committees and things to get involved in. And the committees, or like, let's say it's an event committee or being an ambassador, it's so rewarding. Even if you don't make a sale, but you'll make deep connections that'll eventually lead to something great. Which is really cool to see from, chamber staff perspective, to see those businesses finally, make some really deep connections and flourish. So yeah, getting involved in your community is so critical to helping business. So yeah.
People are our greatest resources.
What's that?
People are our greatest resources.
Oh, yeah.
Building connections and relationships it's a social currency, but the more you do it will impact your real currency, as you're building these relationships and these connections, meaningful, authentic relationships. And you have a platform where people can go do that. So,
yeah, I do. Thank you.
My
so
pleasure.
do you. My goodness.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
what it's all
this.
about.
Yeah, it is what it's all about. We do the same thing, just a little bit different.
That's absolutely it.
Right? I think we all do.
Yeah, we all do it in our own way.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. The difference makers. I would clarify that because not everybody is doing the same thing. The difference makers are doing
difference makers,
in our own way. So, Katie, thank you so much for coming down here.
Yeah,
and
this
having
has
this
been
conversation.
Great, Jason. Thank you so much. This is great.
My absolute pleasure.
I appreciate it.